Hi guys, Arthur here from Homeowner DIY. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to raise a trap arm that is too low for a cabinet. Now the reason that this trap arm is now too low is because the cabinet has been replaced with something else. One other thing that I don't really think is a factor in this case, but because the floor has been redone, it's also higher than the previous floor. That half inch I don't think is going to be a factor, but that's also something that you need to take into consideration. Now this cabinet is an aftermarket. It has a drawer on the bottom. I believe the previous cabinet did not. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a hole in the wall and raise the trap arm up. Here is a video of what happens when a trap arm is too low, and instead of cutting a hole in the wall to raise the trap arm or cut a hole in the shelf, they offset the trap arm. Now this is not allowed by plumbing code. This is what I'm going to avoid doing by raising the trap arm itself. One other thing is, guys, because I'm doing this cabinet myself, take note of how the cabinet looks after I'm done. If you look at the other plumbing videos that I have, the undermount sink and the cabinet, how to drill clean holes in cabinets, that video too, you'll see the consistent hack job of cabinets that either plumbers or cabinet guys do because they just don't want to do a better job and make it look nicer. But what we'll do now is we'll look at our setup and then we'll do material and tools. Alright, so this is our cabinet. We have a drawer here. We have a shelf. So you can see how the trap arm is too low. So the simple way to do this is to cut a hole here and then have the trap drop in here. Now, being a plumber, that is not the code because we have our clean out there. So that line there is 1 foot off the ground. So what that means is the very bottom of this cleanout needs to be above that so it's accessible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a hole in the wall. We're going to raise our trap arm up. We're going to abandon this cleanout. I'll glue the cap in so it's permanent. And then I am going to raise the trap up, put in a new cleanout, and put everything back together. That way everything here will be code compliant. Everything will be accessible, serviceable, and if there's any problems in the future, there won't be too many issues to get it done. One other thing is we have 2 couplings there and there, which means something has already changed. And one other thing I will do is I'm going to cut the 2 poly bead lines down low, transition into PEX, and put brand new stops on. If we're here, we might as well just replace everything so it's brand new. So with that in mind, what we'll do now is material and tools. Alright, this is our materials list. So I have a 2 by 1.5 by 1.5 T, 1.25 by 1.5 slip adapter, 1.5 trap. This is a union trap. 1.5 coupling. I have a 2-inch coupling in case I need it. 2-inch cleanout. 1.5 22, 1.5 45. I don't know what I need yet to make this work. 1.5 fern co, a little bit of 2-inch pipe, 1.5 pipe, and then I have ABS glue. Guys, this is what I think I need for this job. So what we'll do now is the tools list. Alright, this is our tools list. So I have a drywall saw, hacksaw, hand tools, pencil, measuring tape, knife. I have a 2-foot level and then a smaller increment level. Guys, this is what I think I need for this job, so let's get started. Okay, so to figure out the height of our trap arm, what we'll do is we're going to measure it to the bottom of this. Now we're going to leave a space because we still have our slip adapter and our piece of pipe. So our slip adapter there and our piece of pipe still have to go on. But we'll measure from the floor. So I have 2 feet to work with. So this mark here, this is 12 inches. I have another 12 inches that I will make a mark on the wall. And then I need to have my cleanout and then my trap arm somewhere in this area. Typically a trap arm nowadays for Vandy, at least here, is 19.5. But within the range to get the trap to fit and the clean out, we will figure out with the 1 foot space that we have to work with. Okay, so this is our shelf, so everything from here down is not accessible. The top of our drain will be here at 24, so the clean out and the trap arm have to be in this area, and we have to take consideration to be able to take the trap out. So the cross piece in the very back, the bottom is 26.5, which is there, and then the top of the cross piece is 32.25. So the cross piece will come across here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a slot in the drywall here. I'm going to cut it down low where you're not going to see it. Wherever I hit the 2 studs, I will score down the line, and that's going to be the minimal amount of invasive cutting that we have to do that you'll be able to see. Since it's inside of a cabinet, throw some like shampoo bottles or something in the back, and that'll cover the couple vertical marks. But with that done, what I'll do now is I'll draw a box on the wall, and then we'll go ahead and cut a hole in the wall. Okay, so there's a stud there. So we'll measure 1.5 inches. So this is the middle of the stud. And then our other stud is way over there. Okay, so we have a stud here, we have a stud here. 1.25 inches is the edge of the stud, which is also the same as the leg width of the vanity. So I'm just going to use my level to make a line down the wall. Theoretically the center of the stud. So what I'll do is I'll cut this out here, and then I'm going to score both, and then we'll take this piece of drywall out. Okay, so we'll take our knife. Okay, and then when you score this, you only have to do it twice with the knife with the straight edge. Then you'll have a deep enough groove that you can just keep going until you hit the stud. Okay, I scored all the way around, so it should be relatively easy to pop out. Alright, so this is the hole in the wall, and guys, this is why I always say when you're cutting drywall, make sure that you cut using a handsaw. Big as a sawzall, if you cut through one of these things, it wouldn't be a good thing. Anyways, so what we have is we have 2 inch coming up to our trap arm. So this portion here is a wet vent for the toilet, so this has to be 2 inch, and then when we have 1.5 inch coming up off the top. So because I have from here to here, which is 1 foot to work with, we need to get our trap in, and then we also need to get our slip adapter inside as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mock this up really quickly to figure out the height of the trap arm and for the clean out. Okay, so the first thing is we need to figure out our clean out. So we want the bottom here to be above this line. Okay, so this is going to be the very top of the hub right here. So we have that done. We'll put that there. And then we have our trap arm. And then our trap is going to be this here. So even right there, I am relatively happy with that. Okay, so from the center to the bottom, which is the dip, it is 4.5 inches. So with this being here, 4.5 inches winds up being right there. So with that there, that there. Alright, so what I'm going to do is we'll take out the cleanout cover and then we will cap it and glue it back in. Okay, so this is now permanently capped off. So what I'll do now of course is I'll cut for the clean out. And it actually winds up being just at the very bottom of the T. Alright, so I cut the piece out. I've cut this tight to the T to get my clean out above the shelf line here. Now there's not much play here, but what I'm going to try to do is I'll glue the clean out in first. I'll get the trap arm to the height that I want it to be, and then from there I'll see how I can get this to work out. Always look from the top to make sure it's coming out relatively straight. Okay, I just realized I went off the wrong one. This here, this is the top, the bottom of the drain, so that's not going to go there. So I can lower this down. This is the top of the trap. It's probably when you make too many lines, you start to lose where you are. Okay, so this is the center of our trap arm. So at the center of our trap arm, we'll have a 4-inch piece. Okay, because we have so little to work with, I'll have to fern coat the top. But this is a dry vent anyway, so it's not going to matter. It's never going to see water unless it's rainwater. But what we'll do is we'll hold that in line. And then I'll cut a piece 3.5 inches. We'll slip this on as high as we can go. We'll glue this, put it in, and then slip this down. Okay, so for our fern coat, take a 5/16. That's what this is. These are all standard 5/16. Loosen it off until both of the bands slide around freely. Now what I'm going to do is mark the bottom of the pipe. So when I slide the fern coat, it'll be in the middle between the two. So we'll glue our 1.5 inches into the top of the T. And now this will fit here, and we'll have a slight gap between the two. Okay. So I would ideally like a coupling here, but there's just not enough space to get it in, so the fern coat will be fine. But like I said, this is a dry vent. It'll only ever see rainwater, so it's not going to be an issue. Okay, so when I glue this in, I'm gonna look at the very face of the hub, line it up with the wall to make sure it comes out straight. Alright, that looks fine, so we'll slide down, and then I'll tighten up our gear clamps. Okay, just use a typical ratchet if that's all you have. Now, me being plumber, I have a torque wrench. This is a 5/16 torque wrench. This is set to 5 foot-pounds or 60 inch-pounds. Says it right there. There you go. And now that we have our trap arm in place, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the lines. And then we'll cut the lines down here. We'll transition into pecs, and then we'll come up in pecs before I put the drywall back in. Alright, so I reran my lines. In case you're wondering what this is going to be for the fridge, because what they did before is leaking, and it'd just be easier to tee off the cold and rerun a new line. Anyways, I put the piece of drywall back in. So this is the original cleanout that'll be covered up. This is our new cleanout. Okay, so that's the center of the trap arm. This is the center of the trap arm. We'll put the piece of drywall back in, and then we will cut for it. Alright, so I put in the cabinet, I put in discussion, stops. The cleanout is now accessible. There's our trap arm. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead, pipe everything in, and once it's all done, we'll come back. Okay, so this is our finished cabinet. And this is our drain. Everything's been tested, everything works, everything looks good. I'm very happy with this. So what we'll do now is an overview of this job. Alright guys, so that concludes this project. So with a little bit of work that you need to do here, the cabinet looks a lot better than the other stuff that I've seen. The cleanout is now accessible, and I highly recommend making sure that your cleanout is accessible, because the first time that you need to service a slow draining sink, you will pay off any investment that you did on this project. But the cabinet looks really good. I'm happy with the way things went, and I don't see why they would have any problem in the future. The time on this job. The time was about an hour and a half. I didn't run into any problems. I was well prepared. Everything went fairly smoothly. I'm very happy with the way this project went. The cost of this job. The cost was about $50. This was all ABS, glue and fittings, so it was nothing out of the ordinary. There were no unforeseen circumstances in this case. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. I hope something here is going to help you on your project when you need to go ahead and do that. Guys, till next time, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next project.